Welcome everybody to episode 12 of Money, Life and Gags with Mark and Harry. So, morning, Harry. How you going?
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Really good, mate. Really good. We're trying a new format today. So we're in two different locations. We've been in the same one. So what could go wrong? The next one is a really interesting story and something I call it quite brave because you don't often see companies take this view. But it's a company called Domino's. Domino's Pizza. Yeah. So going back years and years and years ago, a guy, bought one pizza shop and turned that pizza shop into a national chain across America. It was competing against Pizza Hut and some other large chain in the pizza space. But once again, faced the brink, not dissimilar to all these examples are all about big companies that face the brink. And so CEO had to fall on his sword. The investors put on a new CEO. And this was the most pivotal thing imaginable that you could think a company would do. He basically did a whole marketing campaign and basically said that the company's pizzas were shit.
Crap, Mark.
He said pizzas are shit. Yep. And said they're going to change their recipes. They're going to reinvigorate the company. But we understand why we're in the position we are because we're capping. So he got focus groups. The focus groups were video telling them their pizzas were crap. And he used those in his advertising and his marketing campaigns. And it resonated a lot with the marketplace because of the honesty factor. He was basically being honest, saying...
so even though he told his end consumer, our product is crap, and you're telling me consumers kept ordering?
No, not on the back of just that. So what he did is through those focus groups, he changed all his recipes. And so the company came out with a whole new batch of recipes on their pizzas. So I'm not sure what was and what is, but he changed it all. And then the other thing he did was to bring it into what back then in the technical age was he digitized his entire operation. And so there was a digital transformation where he created at the time the first app for a pizza delivery company. And on that delivery, you could place all your orders, change what you wanted, track your pizza. It's my fault. And so between telling the market that their pizzas were crap, changing all the recipes to more tastier pizzas and using technology, the company never looked back and it took off. And if you think about where things are sitting now, you got Domino's as a dominant player in the pizza market. And where's Pizza Hut?
I guess it's pizza chain in the world.
Yeah. And where's Pizza Hut these days?
Oh, yeah, gone. Yeah, gone.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's an example of...
I mean, imagine running a business and telling your consumer our product's crap.
It's unheard of. I don't know anyone who would do that. You think about even in politics, they don't even own the crackness of what they do, and it was election through Australia at the moment, and just started, and none of them are going to own their mistakes and say, yeah, we've got to do better. They're just going to make up propaganda about their things. So they think about politics, they think about companies, corporate presentations on the earnings and things like that. Everyone thinks they've got to, they don't own. A lot of them don't own their problems. They just try and just cover it up and talk about the next, what they're doing next. And so, pretty brave move by the Domino's guy, but very successful.
Do you think the consumer is forgiving today?
I think today it's a lot harder to do something like that because with social media and all the, we live in the land of reviews. And so to turn something around, can things be turned around? Yes, I think they can.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as just snapping your fingers, changing, because a local business is on a global platform these days. Like even your local restaurant is on Google reviews and other review platforms and so forth.
I mean, everything's so quick good today.
Yeah. And so people, I know a lot of people straddling, they'll say, oh, that's a bad review, I'm not going there. And so you're losing potential clientele just because of your reviews. And it takes time to change those reviews to a level where they're more positive again. So is it retrievable? Yes. Will take longer? Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a great story. And, good on that CEO for having the gumption to take the actor.
Well, that's come out of left field to come at the marketplace and say, my product's not good. I guess I guess the consumer then may have been more forgiving. And if the consumer saw that the company was honest, maybe the consumers turned around and said, you know what, I'm going to give you another opportunity. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's like a domino effect. So enough to intend. But when they changed their recipes and then their marketing campaigns were obviously very slick, to make themselves, to rebrand themselves, to reposition themselves, then it only takes a few people to start talking about.
Well, of course.
I don't know. Did you try the new Domino's? Their pizzas are actually good, and you've got to see this. It's fantastic, and it just flies.
Yeah.
The names changes from that, and so I think as consumers we are forgiving, but here today we're a lot more damning than they used to be. Like back in the day, you'd have to almost it's just word of mouth how things happen, not social media platforms.
Do you know what I find? It's interesting what you say about word of mouth. I still think that word of mouth today is more powerful than actual reviews, but here's the hypocrisy. Exactly what you said about restaurants. Most people click onto their mobile phones and they look at the reviews today far more than anything else. Whereas before social media, word of mouth, Mark, was very powerful.
And that's how you got it. That's how you got it. So
you didn't like that advertising. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Incredible.
Oh, look, I'm watching in general. Like, I don't know if you remember back in the day, mate, but there used to be 2 volumes of yellow pages like this thick.
Oh, I do remember.
But thousands of dollars to be, the full page out of a quarter-page ad. And you look at it today, there's no books around anymore, although there might be little yellow pages going around, but no one uses books anymore. Everyone just uses Google, I'll Google it, or that if it's a restaurant, they might use OpenTable or whatever, the platforms are. So technology has taken over all of that, which means a company succeeding or failing on the back of public perception is accelerated like 100 times.
Yeah. I mean, talking about Yellow Pages, you may or may not remember Telstra owned Yellow Pages in Australia, and they were giving someone wanted to buy them out. I think it was a private equity firm, and it was voted. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. No, I do because I was a Telstra shareholder, so I often looked into the announcements they were making, because Telstra initially, when they flooded, they were making big money and the share price went through the roof, and then it started coming down because telecommunications wasn't sexy anymore, and Telstra had to divest some assets, and they were given some stupid offer for Yellow Pages. They didn't take it, only to find that Yellow Pages went to zero, because even Telstra were not aware how technology could transform the entire landscape. So that's how fast technology has actually moved. If look today at AI. I mean, AI, which I know very, very little, that's going to transform everything, Mark. Everything over the next 3 to 5 years. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. As to those that embrace it will do well, and those that stubborn to it or don't want to embrace it, they'll get left behind.
Yeah, indeed. What's next, mate?
So the last one for today, which is more at the luxurious end of the market. But are you familiar with the story, the Ferrari and Lamborghini, and how the Lamborghini was born?
I don't know the story between Ferrari and Lamborghini, but I am aware that Lamborghini used to be a tractor company.
Exactly right.
Yeah. That's all I know. That transformed itself into a sports car.
Yeah. So here's the funny story, right? And this is where, sometimes being nice means you don't get bitten on the ass. Although, but I've got to say, Ferrari's still successful. So
yeah,
it's not that they were, but an enemy was born on this particular day. So Ferruccio Lamborghini was the guy's name, and he was a tractor manufacturer, and he did really well for himself in that space. And so he bought himself a Ferrari, because when you get to that level of wealth, that's what people do. And so he had this Ferrari, and he noticed there was a clutch problem. And so him being the engineer that he is, he couldn't help himself. So he went inside the inner workings of a Ferrari, and what he found was this clutch was the exact same clutch that was in his tractors.
Oh,
yeah, same clutch, and he was paying $100 as wholesale for these clutches, and Ferrari was trying to sell him $1,000 for the clutch. And he goes, "Boy, what's going on here? Like, I can buy it for $100, you sell it for $1,000. That's rubbish, right? It's the exact same thing." So I'm not sure how he orchestrated this, but obviously he had the right network. So he organized a meeting with Enzo Ferrari back in the day. and tried to explain to him about this clutch and, and you're ripping off and all this sort of stuff. And effectively, Enzo said to, "Look, you're a tractor guy. You go stay at tractors. We'll stay where we are. Thank you, but, go away, get out." So, but basically, I might be putting mayonnaise on this, but he effectively got kicked out of the meeting. And so he was a man scorned. Like, he was like, you're not going to treat me like that. Typical Italian mentality, and so from that day, he invested the money he was making out of tractors. He invested towards making sports cars. And so he hired the people, he developed the cars and so forth. And it might have been a year, 18 months. I'm not sure the period from when he started this project, but then he launched the first Lamborghini, and his target was, I'm going to make it more luxurious than the Ferrari. I'm going to make it faster than the Ferrari. I'm going to make it cheaper than the Ferrari.
Oh, really? Cheaper too. Okay.
Cheaper, yeah, because he knew Ferrari's parts were exaggerated at their retail level, and so he could source all the parts as well, and so the first Lamborghini was born and sold like hotcakes, and so all of a sudden, where Mr. Enzo Ferrari told him to bugger off, all of a sudden he had a big folk on his hands, and so that's how the Lamborghini story started, and now that was successful for years and years, and it was Ferrari. But what outside of the revenge tactics, the key thing for his success for the Lamborghini was he viewed the marketing undertaken by Ferrari. He viewed them as targeting race car drivers, like people who want to be race car drivers and that sort of stuff. Where the Lamborghini marketing was targeted towards business owners who could afford a car of that nature, wanted a performance vehicle, but also wanted the luxuries again. I didn't want a full race car experience because I don't know if you've ever been in a race car, they're quite comfortable. They're more for racing, not for cruising. And so he created the more comfortable version of these performance cars. And it resonated with the marketplace, and then never looked back. And then he looked.
And this all started because of a bloody clutch. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing that things get started.
I know. But, I don't know of any people that would go to that extent on, okay, well, I bought a Ferrari. I'm going to look inside the Ferrari. I don't like something I see, so I'm going to compete against Ferrari. No, that's, that'd be like us saying, I bought an iPhone. We look inside the iPhone. Oh, geez, those components are a lot cheaper than we pay the retail price for this whole phone. No, of course, I'll start my own phone company. It takes a serious amount of gumption and backing to have that strategy. And that's what he did. That's probably today's equivalent. And that's what he did. So, yeah. So I think there's some key takeaways through these 4 stories that we've just spoken about. And, keen to hear your thoughts on it, but then I'll share mine. But there's a lot of learnings you can take through history through these type of companies and how they recover from, lack of prosperity and the brink of bankruptcy.
I think most people show their true colors, if I can use that analogy, that when they're desperate, the best comes out of them. Like they will do, I mean, the FedEx guy going to the casino, that's not my thing. That's just not my thing. But it obviously worked for him. But in most circumstances where people have got their backs against the wall, I'm guessing now most people would just basically walk away, but there's some who have got a dogmatic attitude, a never die attitude. They'll do anything and everything just to turn it around or make it happen. I mean, the one with the Marvel Studios, I wasn't aware that there was a licensing agreement between themselves and Sony, but you can see that they had to do that so they can survive and prosper. And in the end, Disney comes around and buys the whole bloody thing. It was just as easy to walk away.
Absolutely, yeah, because you're just like going to make, you're a rat trader really. So you're just making comics and not much else. A lot of publications just die, and so in all of these examples, the one commonality amongst all of them that I see is mindset, the power of control mindset. That this is not going to get me. I'm going to overcome whatever hurdles come in front of me. I'm going to smash through and overcome them. And so if anyone's listening, you want to take something away, I think mindset is the key takeaway here. Just be relentless. Don't don't get caught in the weeds of your problem. Just come up a level and say, okay, how do I solve this problem?
And I think if I can in emotion. Emotion, I think if you do that also, I mean, I look back and when I was in trouble, I obviously didn't like how I felt. It's just a shit feeling, Mark. It's really bad feeling. It's really bad. Today, when I look back, I'm almost at the point where I say to myself, I'm grateful I went through that experience. A, it made me stronger. B, it gave me perspective. And the last and most important thing, if it happens to me again, I actually know what to do. I may not know what my issues are, but I actually know how to get out of it because I've gone through it. Does that make sense? You always go that way, to succeed.
Yeah, well, I think you said it a bit earlier. The greatest learnings come from the brinks of failures, because you develop that level of bravery that that is
because no one is successful. No one is successful 100% of the times. I mean, they're just not. At some point in time, they're going to hit a roadblock, and it's how you handle the roadblock and how you come out of it. Now, some people may spend a minimal amount of time dealing with crap, and that's fine. It could be because of their skill set. Other people like myself may have to spend a lot of time sorting out the crap, but as long as you get out on the other end, you actually set up a template for yourself moving forward that you can handle anything.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the other thing people forget also is you're not always alone. That the problem doesn't have to be yours solely. I'm a big believer you surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And that doesn't mean you're dumb. It just means there's areas where people have an expertise that you're not expertised in. And so you bring that expertise around you. So I'm sure the Domino's guy didn't come up with everything all on his own. He went up and brewery near it, tested this theory, created the content, and so you have the right people around you to help you, get yourself out of the shit if your company's in the shit, and then thrive. Too many companies just worry about survive. They don't focus on the thrive, because surviving just means you're going to repeat and go back into into the brink at some point. Where if you survive and then thrive, that's Nirvana. That's what you want to do. And,
Indeed.
Interesting topic.
Interesting topics. Now, now the FedEx guy is going to stay in my mind now. So, again, it just was. All right, mate. What a great.
Sorry.
All right, mate. What a great episode, mate. Thanks a lot for that, and looking forward to the next episode.
Thanks very much, Harry. Have a
Cheers, mate.
Bye.